So we're going to proceed with public comments. Do we have any public comments this evening from the board or from the public?
No.
I have none.
All right, anyone, it's just the three of us? Yes. Okay, any public comments from the public? No? All right, any announcements this evening?
No announcements.
Okay. For an announcement, what I will read tonight is I will read the, I'll read the statement that we released earlier today regarding the investigation, just to make the public aware. So this was released earlier this afternoon. On January 17th, 2023, the Lunenburg Select Board voted to initiate an investigation as authorized by Section 3-2E of the Lunenburg Town Charter into the process that contributed to the FY23 property valuation and tax assessments. Over the last week, the investigative team, comprised of Chairman Michael Ray Jeffries, Vice Chairman Tom Alonzo, and Town Manager Heather Lemieux, finalized an investigative framework and will be publishing a request for proposals to solicit independent tax assessors and analysts to assist in independent review and investigation. The chairman of the select board and town manager have also worked with members of the Board of Assessors and the assessor's office to identify support required to process a significant amount of abatements, and a solicitation for services will be published this week. The select board and town manager will continue to work with personnel from the Department of Revenue and external partners to expeditiously look into concerns identified by residents as part of the investigation. The investigation seeks to answer a variety of core questions and will focus on establishing a timeline and identifying facts supported by evidence. The select board will provide regular updates to the public twice a month on the investigative process and will provide its next update on February the 7th, 2023. All right. Do we have no appointments this evening, but it looks like we have scheduled appointments, but we do have a staffing appointment. And to the town manager, if you want to introduce this one to us regarding Kennedy Jackson.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this appointment comes to me from the police chief, and this is for our public safety desk person, clerk position. I'll read the letter from the police chief. Dear Ms. Lemieux, as you're aware, our desk position has been vacant since August of 2022. The position had been posted, but we were unable to identify a candidate at the time of the posting. During the month of December, we were about to begin the process again when our Fitchburg State intern, Kennedy Jackson, expressed an interest in the position. We met with Kennedy, and at the end of the meeting, we were confident she would be a good fit for our community and department. I'm pleased to recommend Kennedy Jackson for the full-time public safety desk clerk position. Kennedy is a lifelong resident of Fitchburg, is a graduate of Oakmont Regional High School. She graduated from Fitchburg State University in December of 2022 with a Bachelor of Science degree in Criminal Justice and a minor in Sociology. Kennedy also comes from a family of law enforcement professionals. Her father is a retired police officer and her mother is a retired correction officer. Kennedy possesses the skills and knowledge to successfully fulfill this position. During her internship with our department, she was given several tasks and was able to complete the task with minimal direction. Kennedy has met all the requirements for the position, which included passing a full background investigation. I request that Kennedy Jackson be appointed to the full-time public safety desk clerk position to be effective January 25th, 2023. Thank you for your consideration of my request. Chief Thomas Gamble.
Well, thank you to the town manager for presenting that. It's always good when interns work for the town. You get a kind of a good feel for what they can offer. They get the exposure, the interest, and when there are opportunities like this, it's always a good thing. So I will open to the board for any questions related to this ratification.
How long was this person an intern with us?
The length of time, I'm not sure, but I've spoken with Amanda Moore, who's worked with her, and she was highly pleased that she applied for the position and thinks she's going to be a great fit. I can find out the length of the term of her internship. So.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any comments, questions?
I have no comments.
Okay, and I can't tell, Heather, if Selectman Franco is with us or not. I know that him and Mr. Alonso are under the weather this evening.
No, neither are on the Zoom call.
Okay. All right, and so two, is there a motion to ratify the town manager's appointment of Public Safety Desk Clerk Kennedy Jackson?
So moved?
Second?
All right, this is all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, no. The motion passes. All right, thank you, Heather, and we look forward to the desk clerk coming on board full-time.
So do we. Thank you.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow. All right, so under old business, so what we have is, this is some housekeeping. The board previously approved a collective bargaining agreement, and this was with the police union. So tonight, we are just signing off on this. Are you?
Yes.
Yep. So I will go ahead, and there's 2 copies here for us to sign, so please sign both.
When did we approve it?
When did we approve this? In the spring? Was that late spring?
Yes.
So I did not approve it.
No.
Can I still sign it?
Yes. Okay. All right, current business. So tonight, discussion and vote on funding for tax assessment investigation. So I will present this, and Heather, if you want to jump in at the end. So to my colleagues, so one of the things that we've been working on over the past, as noted in the release, is coming up with a framework. You know, a lot of the documents that we're currently creating, we're classifying as confidential for the select board, town manager, executive eyes only. And so we will, you know, we will make sure that that the framework is available for the select board on a routine basis to be able to come into the office to look at. But for now, that document and all the supporting documents with it are confidential and not available for public release until the actual investigation is complete. There's a couple of things that we're going to need to do. We're going to need to bring in some assessment assistance, whether this is, you know, reaching out to our surrounding communities and saying, hey, can we have your assessors kind of come in here and do some review for us? That will cost us. The current plan as well is to, which Heather's been working on, we've both been working on, is an RFP to be able to go out and procure these services as well. So there's going to be funds needed for that. And then also on the investigative side, we think that there may be a need for administrative support. We're not quite sure how much, but a little bit of administrative support because of the fact that the selectmen are not here in the office all the time, and we are going to need to have someone other than the town manager that's gathering a lot of the documents that we're looking for. So there's also the need to significantly bump up the assessment office. So currently, a high volume year of abatements is about 50, and we are projecting that we're likely going to see 500. And so we need to procure people to be able to assist in that process. So what we're asking for at this point is for the board to agree, you know, under the rationale that we provided for the investigation to begin, for the board to allocate or commit $150,000 for these needs, and then as we further develop and get a better feel for what all these costs are, that we will provide the select board with itemized lists of where all this money is going, so it's crystal clear to all of us where we're actually spending it. This authorization right now is due to Heather's been reaching out to different companies to get a feel for what some of these costs are going to be, and I think that this kind of captures the current ceiling of what we're seeing. So so tonight I am asking the board to authorize funding for $150,000. I will make the motion, but I know we need to have some discussion on this. Heather, did I miss anything that you want to contribute before we start talking?
No, I think you summarized that nicely.
Okay.
Do we have a number right now of how many people actually filed abatements?
Heather, do you have the
Currently,
update from today?
I don't have exact numbers. I did talk to the assessor's office a couple times today, and it was estimated around 80.
So
by the end of
far,
the day, they could have got closer to 100.
Yeah. So as of end of day on Thursday, we received 50. We knew that there was that abatement workshop that happened on Saturday.
Yep.
I think there was huge attendance at that. So we're expecting a significant amount to come in this week. Yeah. So
And did you say where the funding was coming from?
ARPA.
It is, I just wanted to clarify that.
Yes. CFLIC, or I'm saying CFLIC, but CLFRF, I think that's what it is. ARPA. Yes.
Okay.
All right.
So is the 150, you had used the word ceiling, is that a ceiling just for staff through the duration of the abatement process? Because there was discussion at last week's meeting that the abatement process potentially could be extended if there's an agreement between the Board of Assessors and
Filer,
the filer. So do we have an estimate on the duration? Do we think, it's just going to be the next through May?
Yeah, I can answer that. So the request for services is a long request. So what we're asking for is assistance to get through the abatement process. It's also, if there are appeals, to have representation in front of the appellate tax board as well. So that way, the group that's brought in, that they will stay with us through the duration. So I think the initial need is going to be 3 months, but the pricing that we're discussing is looking at a longer term kind of unknown, which is why there will be finite numbers that will come in, and there will be in the future probably modifications to what the request is as we get that. And I think there's an element of this that's right now rolling. We are trying to capture that rolling cost, but again, it's all about how many abatements we actually receive. And we won't know that till the 1st. So how many abatements we actually receive, and then through that process, as we get to the next process, if there is a need to go before the appellate tax board, that as well. So it's all going to be driven by the numbers that we still need another week to finalize.
And you think 150 is enough?
So at this point, we think that 150 is enough for us to get going. With all of the RFPs, we need to have that funding secure before we can publish.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I move that we allocate $150,000 from ARPA funds to augment the town staff to deal with the influx of abatement applications.
I will second that, and I will ask if you will modify your motion to also include tax assessment investigations.
I was going to say that.
I'll agree to that
Okay.
amendment.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion? All right. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Those opposed, no. The motion passes. Okay. Thank you. And I know many of our residents and members of the community will also be very appreciative of the board moving very swiftly to help bring this to some finite conclusion. All right, so tonight's meeting was intended to be brief. We had an executive session, and tonight's meeting was really to be able to appoint staff, commit these funds. The goal tonight was not to have a full normal select board meeting, since it is kind of, we are having that next week instead. All right, we don't have any warrants or minutes tonight, and we can get to action items next week unless anyone has any committee reports tonight.
I'll save it for next week.
Okay. All right, our next meeting, normally the select board does not meet on the fourth Tuesday of the month, but we will be meeting on the fourth Tuesday of this month. So we have our next meeting scheduled for January the 31st. We'll continue to meet through February, and our next break will be the last Tuesday in February. Are there any public comments this evening from the town manager?
None, thank you.
Thank you. Any from the public? All right, we'll pause. Any from the board? All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All right, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Those opposed, no. The time is now 6:47, and we are adjourned. We will see you here next.